The sergeant major's shadow. A day in Stuttgart, a threat across Europe. The most dangerous threat wasn't on the battlefield, it was already inside the routine. The OPSEC Minute, extended, Episode 066, Prologue. Panzer Kaserne. 0530 hours. The Stuttgart sky was still dark. Streetlights reflected off damp pavement as a lone figure crossed the installation. No entourage, no ceremony, no fanfare. Just a Command Sergeant Major beginning another day. Command Sergeant Major Christopher Melendez adjusted the collar of his PT jacket as he moved through the nearly empty parking lot. At 44, the Pennsylvania native carried the quiet confidence that only decades of service could produce. Combat engineer, special operations veteran, husband, father, mentor, soldier, today looked ordinary. It wasn't, because somewhere in Europe someone had already begun collecting pieces of a puzzle. Photos, travel plans, family details, unit affiliations, housing information, exercise schedules, nothing classified, nothing secret, nothing illegal, just fragments. Fragments that, when assembled, would become a target package. Neither the collector nor the collected realized how close they were to collision. Act 1. A Leader's Walk. "Morning, Sergeant Major." Melendez smiled at a specialist jogging near the fitness center. "Morning. How's the family?" The soldier brightened. "Good, Sergeant Major. My wife finally got settled into her new job." "Outstanding. Keep taking care of each other." 30 seconds. That was all. Yet it captured who Melendez was. Not a leader behind closed doors. A leader who knew names, faces, families, problems. By 0700, he had already visited motor pools, barracks, work centers, and child development center parking lots. He wasn't inspecting. He was connecting. Inside Garrison Headquarters, Colonel Edward Sanford arrived for the daily synchronization meeting. Moments later, Deputy Garrison Commander Robert Gwinner entered carrying coffee and briefing folders. Commander, Deputy, Command Sergeant Major. 3 different backgrounds. 1 mission, taking care of Stuttgart. "Morning, gentlemen," Sanford said. "Too early for your optimism, sir," Gwinner replied. Melendez laughed. "That's because he's had coffee." The room erupted in laughter. The chemistry was genuine. They understood something years of leadership had taught them. People noticed culture, and culture started at the top. Then the mood shifted. DPTMS Director Kyle Corey appeared on screen. Beside him sat Acting Protection Chief and ATO Luke Fralick, Brian Buckner, and Sergeant First Class Kaylee Schrader. The topic was troubling. OSINT exploitation, open source intelligence, the modern battlefield of information. Fralick leaned forward. "We're seeing increased collection activity targeting military communities." "Foreign intelligence?" Sanford asked. "Possibly. Criminal networks, activists, data brokers, maybe all 3. The room grew quiet. "How much information are people giving away?" Melendez asked. Fralick displayed a slide. Vacation photos, PCS announcements, unit celebrations, family check-ins, children's activities, exercise countdowns, daily routines, nothing classified, yet dangerous. "Individually harmless," Fralick said. He paused. "Collectively, a roadmap. Act 2. The European Perspective. Wiesbaden, IMCOM Europe Headquarters." Director Tommy Mize studied the briefing in silence. A former engineer officer with decades of experience, he understood a simple truth. Infrastructure mattered. People mattered more. Across from him sat Command Sergeant Major Christopher Carbone, infantryman, ranger, combat veteran, senior enlisted advisor. Carbone reviewed the intelligence products. His expression darkened. Same pattern? Same pattern. Families? Mostly. Carbone nodded slowly. "That's what worries me." Mies leaned back. "Not cyber intrusions?" No. Carbone tapped the report. Trust. The room fell silent. You can patch software. You can replace hardware. But once someone convinces a soldier's spouse, child, or friend to share information, he shook his head. That's harder. Mies smiled. That's why we're visiting Stuttgart next week. Carbone grinned. Good. Because I think Melendez is already on to something. Act 3. The day everything changed. 1300 hours. Patch Barracks Community Center. A spouse town hall was underway. DFMWR Acting Director Corey Schwab discussed summer programs. Chaplain Colonel David Kurlan spoke about resiliency. Red Cross representatives Peter Butner and Aaron Osley reviewed emergency preparedness resources. Then a spouse raised her hand. My daughter received a message from someone conducting a military family survey. The room quieted. Did they identify themselves? Melendez asked. No. What did they ask? The woman hesitated. Where we lived. What school she attended. When my husband was traveling. Silence. Complete silence. Across the room, James J.B. Brooks exchanged a glance with Alonzo Edwards. Both immediately recognized the danger. J.B. stood. Did you provide anything? No. Good. He scanned the audience. Did anyone else receive something similar? Hands began rising. 1, 3, 7, 12. The room suddenly felt much smaller. Melendez looked around. The implications were staggering. This wasn't random. Someone was mapping the community. Not hacking, not stealing, simply asking. And people were answering. Act 4. The Shadow Network. An emergency working group assembled immediately. J.B. Brooks, Alonzo Edwards, Andrew Williams, Arthur Blunt, Luke Fralick, Kaylee Schrader, Daniel Jimenez, Ed Otalora, Eric Frazier, Mikhail Rumphrey. Army counterintelligence agents joined the effort. Every major security discipline was represented. Leading the CI team was Special Agent Rachel Kane, a former linguist known for noticing details others missed. Beside her sat Special Agent Marcus Voss, a former cyber investigator whose patience was legendary. Kane projected a map. Red dots appeared across Europe, Germany, Poland, Italy, Belgium, Romania, the Netherlands. Every dot represented contact attempts against military-connected families. Not espionage, not yet. Preparation, collection, pattern development, target refinement. Who's behind it? Sanford asked. Kane answered carefully. We don't know. State actor? Possibly. Criminal? Possibly. Extremist? Possibly. The room groaned. That's not helpful, Gwinner said. Kane smiled. It's honest. Then another screen appeared. Andrew Williams had found something. Everyone needs to see this. A timeline emerged. Posts, photos, comments, check-ins, travel announcements, sports events, school activities, every item individually harmless. Together, a complete profile. The room fell silent. The profile belonged to a Stuttgart family, a family that had never realized they were exposing themselves. Melendez stared at the screen. His jaw tightened. This isn't about technology. No, Sergeant Major, Kane replied. It never was. Climax. The longest night. 3 days later, IMCOM Europe leadership arrived in Stuttgart. Mr. Mies, CSM Carbone. Their visit was supposed to focus on readiness, resilience, and family support. Instead, they found themselves inside a crisis response cell. The evidence continued to grow. The targeting activity continued to expand. Yet no laws had been broken, no systems hacked, no networks breached, no secrets stolen. Only one thing had happened. People had shared too much. Late that evening, Melendez finally stepped outside. The air was cool. The installation was quiet. For the first time all day, he was alone. Almost. You look tired. Carbone. Melendez laughed. You ever have one of those days where you realize the threat isn't where everyone thinks it is? Carbone nodded. Every day. The two senior NCOs stood overlooking Stuttgart. Families slept, children dreamed, soldiers prepared for tomorrow, the community they served, the community they protected. Finally, Carbone spoke. You know what scares me? What? The enemy doesn't need us to fail. Melendez turned. Carbone continued. They just need us to get comfortable. The words lingered in the night air, because both men knew they were true. Epilogue. 2 weeks later, a new awareness campaign spread across Stuttgart. Foreign travel, self-reporting, OSINT awareness, cyber hygiene, family security, OPSEC, insider threat prevention, not through fear, through education, through engagement, through leadership, through trust. The effort spread across schools, organizations, and installations throughout Europe. For a time, the shadows seemed to recede, but elsewhere, far from Stuttgart, a monitor illuminated a dark room. A digital profile opened. Vacation plans, employment history, family connections, travel records, social media habits. A message appeared. Target package development, 78% complete. Another file opened. Garrison leadership. One name appeared. Melendez, Christopher B. Then another. Sanford, Edward J. Then another. Gwinner, Robert A. A final line appeared. Operation Ghost Mirror, Phase 2 authorized. The screen went black. Lesson learned. The greatest modern security threats often begin with information that appears harmless. A photo, a travel update, a school event, a family post, a location tag, a casual conversation. OPSEC is not solely about protecting classified information. It is about protecting patterns, routines, relationships, vulnerabilities, and readiness. Adversaries can build powerful intelligence pictures using publicly available information. Open source intelligence, social engineering, foreign travel reporting, insider threat awareness, cybersecurity practices, and family education remain critical elements of force protection and community resilience. The strongest defense is an informed community working together. Because in today's environment, the question is no longer, what information is secret? The question is, what story can someone build from the information we freely share? Thank you for sticking around as we continue testing the boundaries of an extended storyboard. Think of it as security training with a plot twist, and a fresh way to both educate our team and connect with our military community. Subscribe to our YouTube I Secure Narratives channel, hit us with a like, and watch for our new updates. Also, if you have other suggestions or ideas, or are interested in a personalized name drop, or your work center's inclusion to our tales, don't hold back. Send a quick note to share your thoughts. We're all ears and ready to make things even better. So, until next Monday's OPSEC Minute Extended, keep those comments coming.